All right, y'all. We got to talk about this place. It is called Usal Beach Campground. It's on the Lost Coast of California, which is sort of the northern section of the California coast. Absolutely stunning, very remote. The highways don't go there, so lots of opportunity for really cool backcountry camping. But yeah, this really popular 4x4 overland campground is just being overrun by people. There's essentially no rules at this campground, so we really got to talk about it. Now, I think we've all been to backcountry campgrounds, overlanding, backpacking, whatever, where they're just really trashed and gross and people clearly don't take care of them. But this place sort of felt like an entire different level. But I think this place is actually a really good case study on what happens when a place gets overshared on the internet. Even on a Tuesday night when we were camping there, it was packed to the brim with people. Let's rewind a little bit and I'll talk about how we got to this campground. We live in Portland, Oregon. We went down to San Francisco for a friend's wedding. We did a little bit of exploring along the way. We did a really cool trip around Mount Shasta, so I'll link those videos at the end if you want to check them out. They're pretty fun. On our way back home, we decided, hey, why don't we hit one more campground or one more camp spot? So I hopped on iOverlander. I was browsing around looking, and I found Usal Beach Campground. It looked really cool. There was people camping on the beach. There was big redwood groves. You know, it was right on the beach. It was just really, it looked really stunning. So I dove in a little bit more. I did a little bit more research, and I came across some not so savory reviews of this place online. Lots of people reporting that, you know, loud music late into the night, people shooting fireworks in the middle of the night, people ripping razors up and down the beach, just all sorts of debauchery. So we were headed there on a Monday night, I believe. So I was thinking, you know, probably not gonna be that bad. It'll be probably a little less crowded, probably not people shooting fireworks in the middle of the night on a Monday. So we took off from San Francisco, we went north on 101, we went west on Highway 1 and went down to the trailhead. And it was really cool, literally and figuratively, because the fog was very present on the California coast. It was super cold. It was a little bit of a bummer because we were really hoping to see a nice sunset. But as we climbed in elevation a little bit, we drove through these beautiful redwood groves. It was really stunning. And right at the top of the trail, we got this magical little scene of the sun coming through the fog, through the trees. It was absolutely stunning. So we rolled into the campground probably around 7:30, and I noticed a very heavy lack of signage about anything. Maybe we were just tired and didn't see anything, but I didn't see anything apparent to me like denoting any rules of this campground. It is really just kind of like a dispersed camping area. There's no amenities, there's no water, there's like one outhouse. So we start driving around looking for some campsites, and we found a few. So we grabbed one with kind of a nice view of the beach. And as I mentioned earlier, nobody's really following the rules of this beach campground. So on the actual website of this state park, you know, I hopped on and looked at all the rules, and it explicitly says that you are not allowed to drive on the beach at this campground. And when we arrived, there were probably about 20 cars out on the beach camping. And it's really hard to say whose fault this is, you know? I mean, there wasn't any signage when we got there. The only mention of this I saw were in a few reviews, and mostly on the state park's website. But again, this place was packed. There were like maybe 2 campsites available on a Monday night. Like I mentioned, 20 vehicles camping out on the beach, which you're not supposed to do. Again, no signage. Why am I talking about this? Why am I telling you about this? Like I said, I think it's a really interesting case study about what happens when a camp spot gets shared online. You know, it's on iOverlander, it's on a lot of these other like online campsite aggregate sites, which is fine, but it was trash. There was food everywhere. There were people that weren't following the rules, and clearly on a weekend, a lot of people out there doing some stuff that you're definitely not allowed to do anywhere in California, like shooting fireworks. Shooting fireworks in a drought-stricken state that's been drought-stricken for 10 years. Can't say that's a great idea, but hey, I'm not you. So unfortunately, we didn't get a ton of footage from this place because I was a little bit worried about a problem with the cruiser. I was a little bit preoccupied and anxious about getting out on this 6-mile trail back to the highway. What I can tell you is we did see just a lot of kind of environmental degradation. People creating new trails, creating new campsites. You know, it was really hard to tell like what was like an established campsite and what wasn't, which is sort of the big problem with these places getting shared online, right? It's creating a huge impact on the environment. People are going and trashing it, not really caring about what they're doing out there because nobody else is caring about what they're doing out there. So it's just this compounding effect of nobody really caring about what's happening. And the reason I feel like this is important to talk about is I feel like the inevitable end of this place is it's going to get shut down because one, it seems like the park staff just doesn't have either enough time or enough people to go out there and police these rules constantly. It is a bit of a remote trail. I mean, it's a truly remote campsite. You know, it was about 7 miles, 6 or 7 miles to get out to this campground from the main highway. And even the main highway, which is Highway 1, is still very windy, and you know, you're going 25 miles an hour. So from 101, it took us probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get down to this campground. So I think this one in particular is kind of slightly a gray area because there wasn't a ton of signage explaining that you weren't allowed to drive on the beach. So one, I think it kind of has to fall on the land management agency for not being a little bit more proactive. And you know, maybe these people are going out there and tearing these signs down, which I wouldn't be surprised if they're out there shooting fireworks. My main point of this video is that we just truly need to be better stewards of the places that we do have access to. Because unfortunately, if you look at what's happening in Arizona and Colorado, overlanding has exploded and people in those areas are going out and they're creating a huge impact on the land, and nobody's taking care of these spots. Areas are getting shut down because National Forest, BLM, doesn't have enough staff to actually go out and police these areas. The responsibility falls on us as people who go out and enjoy these places. And I just hope that if you do decide to go to this campground or any other dispersed camp area 4x4 destination, just make it a little bit better than you found it. Leave it a little bit better than you found it, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to hold on to these places and keep these places open. So yeah, you just learned about a cool camp spot in California, which beach camping on the California coast is pretty rare. So if you do decide to go to this place, get out there, leave it better than you found it. Let me know in the comments, have you been to this campground? Did you have a good experience? A lot of the reviews I read were very mixed. I'd love to hear if you've been there and what your experience was. If you want to go check out our sort of normal video that we did on our way down to San Francisco, Mount Shasta, I'll link it down below or here or wherever it may be on this video screen. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.